It's hard to define what is the best phone ever, but this phone, to me, is the closest we've gotten to it. Meet the Sony Xperia XZ1 Compact. It's a couple of years old and it doesn't look modern, but don't let its looks fool you. It does all a phone should do, even what your phone does not. Here's why it could be the best, but it's really not. It's a bit weird. So most of you probably won't recognize this phone, and that's kind of expectable. The most notable phones of 2017 were the iPhone X, Galaxy Note 8, Pixel 2 XL, OnePlus 5T, and even the Essential phone. None of these are Xperia phones, and it's obvious that people are forgetting that Sony makes phones. And they're still going at it. They're still making a couple of Xperia phones, and they're really good, but nobody knows about them. So, it's my job to talk to you about this phone's greatness. The Xperia XZ1 Compact is a smaller version of the XZ1. The whole point of this phone is to be small and one-handable, and at a display of 4.6 inches, it's right. And raw screen size is just 0.1 inch smaller than the iPhone 8, SE, and all other phones that look like that. Having used this phone for months, I can tell you that the size is pretty good. It's not small, but it's compact, which is good. Even with my medium-small hands, it's easy to use the screen with one hand, and you can also reach the corners without any major hand gymnastics. Contrary to even smaller phones, it is big enough to watch some video in here. It is 720p, but at this size it looks perfectly fine. Remember that resolution doesn't mean that much, it's all about the pixel density. This phone's 319 pixels per inch is pretty good, no complaints. Back to the size. Even though in paper it's compact, one thing that might make it a bit harder to hold is its boxy shape. It's literally a box. Corners are sharp, sides are flat, and it makes this phone a bit too chunky. I would have definitely preferred rounded corners on this. And yeah, the corners are sharp. If you hold the phone a bit too hard, it does dig into your palms a little bit. I used to be a fan of flat sides, like in the iPhone 4 and newer iPhones, but actually using this phone made me dislike them. Turns out that your hand is rounded, and so a phone should be. If you have bigger hands, the holdability might not be an issue, and even for my hands it wasn't that bad, but I would have preferred the rounded corners. And I really think that it would have been easier to hold. And it would also hide the slight thickness it has. It's somehow thicker than the Galaxy S22, and while I don't mind slightly thicker phones if you get more battery, at least make it rounded, that way you don't actually feel the thickness. Speaking of battery, this one is quite good. Even with how worn out mine is, due to its age, it still lasts me entire day. Longer days might get you a bit tight, but if you replace the battery with a new one, you'll have a really good experience. And heck, during my Cantabria trip, where we were on the road for like 12 hours, it still held out until we arrived to the hotel. I did have a battery pack, but all of the iPhone people were running out of battery, so I was giving it to everyone and I couldn't charge my own phone. Anyways, it's time to talk about the camera, so I'll spend 10 seconds talking about it, because reviewers spend too much time talking about it. It takes pictures that are too warm for my taste, low light performance is acceptable, it shoots videos fine, but I don't like how the front-facing camera looks. Overall, the camera lacks dynamic range and just hasn't aged very well. Alright, performance. The Snapdragon 835 performs pretty well. It doesn't stutter, things load fast, also thanks to the UFS 2.0 storage, and even while running Android 13, it hasn't become slow. And we really need to talk about the software. Sony only updated this phone from Oreo to Pie, and I'm disappointed. I don't expect them to bring it up to 13, but at least Android 10 would have been fine. Thankfully, it's easy to sideload Lineage OS, even if it requires a bit of fastboot know-how. It's not as easy as other phones, but follow a guide, Google some stuff, and you'll be fine. My device runs Android 13, and it's good. All Android 13 features run well, and I've got no complaints, other than a stock camera app not being well designed for this phone. Can be solved using a third-party camera app. I use OpenCamera. In the intro, I hinted that this phone could be the best phone ever, and here are the reasons of why I think so. First, the headphone jack. Thank you! It's been so hard to find a phone with headphone jack, and this one has it. Even newer Xperias have it, and it makes me super happy. I still hate Bluetooth headphones, and if a phone has no headphone jack, I'll probably skip it. Currently living without one on my Galaxy S22, so I have to carry something else for music. I will never buy AirPods. Unless someone makes repairable earbuds with hard tip, no in-ear, I won't buy anything like that. I'm very picky when it comes to earbuds, and I like my Apple earbuds. They're good quality, relatively cheap, and I can even repair them myself if a cable breaks. I'm very willing to buy an old phone if it means that I get a headphone jack. That's how important it is to me, just like the size. I'm also very picky about the size, and again, I will buy an old phone if it means I get a smaller size. One other amazing thing is that this phone offers an SD card slot. It even makes the 32GB of storage a non-issue, because I can just pop in however much storage I want. If I need more storage, I can just go to the nearest convenience store and get an SD card. It also means that I don't need to overspend on a lot of storage, since I can just swap out smaller cards at will. This is what I mean when I say this could be the best phone. It's not about the fastest CPU or the biggest screen. It's about the practicality of it. But I'm saying like this could be the best phone, because it's really not. Not everyone likes small phones, that's just the truth. There is a very vocal group of small phone lovers, but most people like something a bit bigger. It can have some great key features, but it fails in some others. Camera? Meh. Actual holding of it? Could be better. Even the non-compact version had it fixed. Build quality? Plastic. Non-compact version is metal. And my phone is slightly bent. Always on display? Nope. At least there is a status LED. Reliability? Here's the story. I was fixing someone's iPhone XR and I wanted to send a video to the owner to show that it was working. As I was recording the video, the camera stopped. I was unable to record any video. Why is that? Any app that required Bluetooth was crashing in the background. That is because Bluetooth itself was broken. The screen recording toggle flickering because it was freaking out. I tried sticking some devices to it, but it just wouldn't work. My phone's Bluetooth is broken. Yay. And I do use Bluetooth every day because I have a Pebble smartwatch. I also use the occasional Bluetooth speaker or car stereo. And of course I need to be able to shoot video. This was very unfortunate. I bought this phone to use for a very long time, since, as I said, I thought this would be the perfect phone for me. But now, it's broken. It lasted me 4 months. And of course there is no way to replace the modem chip on a phone, at least without some extreme soldering skills which I don't possess. So this phone is now pretty much useless for me. I read this Engadget review that also talked about some other connectivity mishaps, mainly GPS compass being weird, which I did also experience.
Okay, so Google Maps is broken and it's telling me that I'm pointing to that road, but I'm actually pointing to this road.
And difficult pairing with Bluetooth devices. Some other people also experience GPS issues. So there seems to be a problem with the connectivity on this phone. Great. I had to switch back to a Pixel 3a to at least get a headphone jack, but I'm now using my Galaxy S22 that I don't usually use as a phone, but as a camera. All of my videos are shot with the Galaxy. It's a nice phone, but it's still too big, especially with a case, since I don't feel comfortable keeping this glass unprotected. Also, no headphone jack, which I somewhat solve with listening to music on another device, but I still miss watching videos with headphones. I am buying another phone, one that was actually my dream phone, until I stopped caring about iPhones. Oh shit, now you can figure out that I'm buying some specific small phone with a headphone jack and I still model with iOS 15. Anyways, thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.